What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and as I have been mentioning, minicamp has wrapped up. We are not going to see the Jets together on the practice field in the building for almost another month, okay? Actually, training camp opens on July 15th. The first practice session is July 16th, so we have a little bit of a downtime in the NFL calendar, but what I wanted to show you today was a couple of futures bets you can make on the Jets to win awards, a couple of props that you can bet for the 2025 New York Jets if, like us here at Jets Latest, you are optimistic. I mean, we're not going to hear much in the next time, right? But then all of a sudden, when training camp gets going and all of a sudden the green and white start to look good like they have been, as people start talking about the Jets a little bit, some of these numbers may in fact move. So you may want to get some of these early, and I'm going to direct you to a couple that I think are interesting. First of all, the Coach of the Year award. Obviously, our new head coach, Aaron Glenn, has been a hot topic here on Jets Latest. We've talked about the culture he is building. We talk about the support and the backing he is getting, how a lot of the people really came to the Jets, are excited about the Jets because of the head coach, Aaron Glenn, and how he's really building something here, right? How we're going to give him a chance, patiently waiting and building. I think what is interesting is the Jets' win total is 5.5 for the season. So if the Jets overperform that, if the Jets wind up winning 8-9 games, which could be possible if things click, right? I'm not going to go crazy and say they're going to win 13 games, they're going to win the division, but if the arrow is pointing up, if people are starting to realize that, you know, Justin Fields is the quarterback of the future for the Jets, if it looks like the Jets are winning close games, a lot of that will be attributed to Aaron Glenn. And check this out. If you look at the betting favorites for the 2025 Coach of the Year award, I mean, Ben Johnson's the favorite between 6 and 7 to 1. Mike Vrabel between 7 and 8 to 1. And then Aaron Glenn is tied for the third choice along with Liam Cohn. You see Mike McDonald of the Seahawks, Pete Carroll in Vegas, and Dave Canales with the Carolina Panthers. What I think is interesting is 5 of the top 6 choices are all first-time head coaches or first-year head coaches with their new organization, right? And then McDonald in Seattle, Canellis in Carolina, they are second-year head coaches. So this award, at least the odds right now, are slanted to who they think will kind of do well early on with a new organization. If you also notice, what do you see here in places like Chicago, New England with the Jets, in Vegas, in Carolina, you are seeing new quarterbacks in that organization, or quite frankly, young quarterbacks, guys like Caleb Williams and Drake May, who will take that step forward. Justin Fields with the Jets, right? So this is kind of slanted to the idea of who will turn around a franchise that hasn't done so well, and who has maybe a quarterback that will take a step forward. And those are places where the Jets, Justin Fields, could literally be that team. And I mentioned the kind of win total. The Jets are at 5.5. They are being under-respected, in my opinion, by the sports book. So if the Jets literally just go 8-9, go 9-8. If Justin Fields take a step forward, then Aaron Glenn will receive a lot of the credit. And as the third choice at 10 to 1, maybe that's a place to put some money. But if you want a little bit of a longer shot, okay, and I'm telling you right now, these are longer shots, okay? So if you don't, want to put a sprinkle on this, I understand. But how about you look to the Defensive Player of the Year award, okay, where Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams are 75 to 1 to win DPOI. Now, the first thing I will acknowledge is that this award usually goes to someone who is in the top 3 in the NFL in terms of sacks. And Quinnen Williams from the interior, probably not going to necessarily put up those numbers, right? Maybe guys like Will McDonald or Jermaine Johnson will, but it usually goes to an edge rusher or a lineman. However, I do think Sauce is interesting, and here is why. Okay, first of all, Pat Surtain won the award as a cornerback last year for the Denver Broncos and kind of broke a streak of edge rushers, sack getters, if you will, being the Defensive Player of the Year. Usually you look at the top of the leaderboard in sacks, that's who's going to win this award, right? But last year, Surtain won it. But remember, a few weeks ago on Jets Latest, we talked about how it wasn't Pat Surtain that was rated as the best cornerback in the NFL. You see on this list from PFF, Pat Surtain is the second quote unquote best or highest rated cornerback in the NFL. Who was number one? Our guy, Sauce Gardner, right? So there is a path for the top cornerback in the league to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. And as you know, there is definitely a path for Sauce Gardner to be viewed as the best cornerback in the league. And here's the other thing. I think the scheme change that we have been talking about here on Jets Latest may also benefit Sauce to put up good or better stats than we have seen in previous years. Remember, I keep on talking about how the Detroit Lions with Aaron Glenn played more man coverage last year than any team in the NFL. Now, Sauce is going to be doing that, playing more man coverage, which gives him more opportunities for stats. Stats like pass breakups, stats like interceptions. Remember, I have been saying the Jets are identifying guys who have that archetype, who are tall and lanky, including guys like Brandon Stephens, including guys like drafting A.Z. Thomas in the third round. So I do think while it is 75-1, there is a universe out there where Sauce, given the ability to play more press man, continuing to show up and show out as one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. At 75-1, it is a long shot, but that could be somewhere that you look. The other thing I want to tell you about is not necessarily a season award, okay? Like Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, whatever the case may be, right? But there are also out there season-long props, right? And one that could be interesting is around Justin Fields in terms of his rushing yards for the season. I actually like this one. I think this could be a value. Here are some of the season-long rushing props for some of the dual threat quarterbacks that are out there in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, will he go over under 700 rushing yards for the season? There you see others. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen out there, Jaden Daniels, right? Guys like Kyler Murray. Well, Justin Fields is right there in the middle. 525 rushing yards for the season. The same number as Jalen Hurts. The same number as Jaden Daniels, right? These guys, Daniels and Hurts, they went over this last year. I think the market is undervaluing the rushing potential of Justin Fields. We have talked about it here on Jets Latest. Justin Fields is one of only 3 quarterbacks in history with 1,000-yard rushing season. Only Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. Justin Fields is one of only 3 quarterbacks in history to have 100-yard rushing games like Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. I think people are forgetting about Justin Fields and literally that dual threat potential. And when you look at this number, I think Justin Fields can go over it. The number is higher than Josh Allen's, higher than Kyler Murray's, and on par with Jaden Daniels. But I think people are forgetting about what Justin Fields is going to do. And quite frankly, the creativity of Tanner Engstrand being able to do that. Okay, also some names that are not on this list, if you're into kind of prop betting, Caleb Williams is an interesting name, Bo Nix, Drake May. These are all rookie quarterbacks from last year that also have rushing potential. So when those numbers come out for those guys, keep an eye out on them. But I think the markets have undervalued Justin Fields. And talk about undervaluing Justin Fields, right? I mean, you see Anthony Richardson on that list at 525 as well. I don't even think Anthony Richardson's going to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And check this out. Anthony Richardson also has shorter odds than Justin Fields to be the MVP of the league. They're hanging Justin Fields right now at 150-1 to be the MVP. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I think it may be worth a shekel or two if all things go well? Maybe. But what I think is disrespectful is that Fields is at 150-1. Anthony Richardson is at 100-1 in some books. I do think Justin Fields has a better shot than Anthony Richardson. Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick, rookie quarterback for Tennessee, is also at 100-1. Do I think either one of them are going to get it? No, but I think it's disrespectful that Justin Fields has longer odds than those two guys. The other thing I'll say about these kind of future odds, look when they do the season-long rushing touchdowns for Justin Fields as well, because as we've mentioned here on Jets Latest, outside of Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, Justin Fields has the 3rd most attempts of the tush push and the successful percentage of converting the tush push. We believe that the tush push may be a part of this Jets offense with Justin Fields as QB1. So look for that number as well. Glenn is interesting at Coach of the Year if things go well. If you're into the long shots, look at Sauce for Player of the Year on the defensive side of the ball. There is precedent for cornerbacks winning. You just have to go back to last year for Pat Surtain. And quite frankly, Sauce is on par with Pat Surtain, was even rated higher in PFF, and they are undervaluing the number for Justin Fields rushing yards. I would take that over right now because in training camp in a month, when people start to realize that, I think the Justin Fields number is going to be more in the 600s, closer to Lamar Jackson than some of these other guys like Anthony Richardson, for goodness sake. So that'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. As always, remember to watch these videos, like these videos, subscribe to the Jets Latest channel, and tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. I know it's kind of the downtime of the NFL calendar between minicamp and training camp, but we will still be here on Jets Latest. When I find stuff to tell you about for fans of the green and white, we will be here giving you the real on what should be an interesting season of 2025 for the Jets, Jets. And as always, if you want more from me, the Spittin' Statistician, hit me up on social media at Spittin' Speeds. But remember, I am also the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM Channel 87, where we're getting you ready for fantasy football. It is draft season coming up as well. So if you want more insights on other dual threat quarterbacks to draft or anything to help you win your league and win that cash, check me on over there at FTN on SiriusXM. FTN Fantasy is a great website with a lot of good information and content, a lot of data points, simulations, and tools to help you become a better sports bettor and a better fantasy football player. Fantasy in all sports, to be quite honest, right? Fantasy baseball going on right now. NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, and all that going on as well, right? Or just wrapping up. So that'll do it for this episode. All right, I gave you a little bit of look into the betting side, but we will be talking all things Jets, Jets. But that'll do it for this episode. We'll talk to you real soon. We out of here. Peace.